How's everyone doing? I don't know if you guys are ready for this meeting, but it's going to be different a little bit.
Rochelle, I was born ready.
The
So glad
slides look fun.
Yeah.
Yay. Yes, they're kind of fun. There's what I think are fun. There are things I found online and laughed out loud and then was like, maybe this is awkward, but too late.
No, I think it's going to be great.
Am I missing anyone? Hey, Patrick. And we've got GJ. GJ, are you usually on these calls?
I am usually on these calls as of season 3.
Okay.
Oh, so as of today, you're always on the
I came a fair amount in season 2, but I was generally unplugged. But I've done a pretty good job reading all the messages now, and I'm much more plugged in, so I can be more useful.
Glad to have you back plugged in, GJ.
Let's go.
Me too. All right. With that, I think we can get started. Okay, we're going to do introductions. Then you're going to have to guess whose most used emojis belongs to. Then we're going to do core KPIs and talk about goals for the end of the year, I think, or in season 3 goals. And then we'll do our regular pod updates. I think everyone here has been here before, but please stay muted. The call is recorded and it shouldn't be more than 30 minutes. Is anybody here who hasn't introduced themselves before or talked to this group want to give a little intro? Who you are, what you do, what you want to do at MetricsDAO but don't do yet. I could call on someone that I know hasn't talked, but she might not like it, so.
I guess we'll spare them.
Okay, fine. But introductions are cool, so next time maybe think of an intro and we can do this slide. All right, this person sent me their most used emojis on Discord, and you have to guess who it is. They are amongst us on this call, so that helps.
I think I know who this is, but I don't want to jump in right away because I always play this game too aggressively.
Aggressively is the only way to play this game. I was gonna say Helix, and then I realized Helix wasn't on the call. Oh wait, no, Helix is on the call.
At 5 p.m. ET, which is pretty crazy late for you, Helix.
Yeah, but this is an important call. I don't know. I was looking at this. I don't think it's mine.
Well,
I think it's
also,
Marina.
any other guesses? Okay, you were right. It's Marina.
Yes.
Marina uses the pine tree a lot. Also, that would be so creepy, Helix, if I got your most used emojis without you knowing.
Right. Yeah, it's a fun game.
Yeah, it's like, guess who's?
Fully
Okay, I think
dogs.
I'm hating everybody. We've got a major announcement today. Super excited. Helix is officially joining us as a core contributor on the Growth Pod, quitting his full-time job to join MetricsDAO, which is pretty crazy. But super excited to work with Helix full-time. Helix is going to be very focused on our growth, specifically like outward facing. We're not tracking anything we're doing right now, really, like in terms of marketing, and Helix has experience in that. Improving performance, partnerships. If you've been to any of our events recently, Helix is like leading a lot of those. Just really good at making friends, and I think that's key for us. So Super excited.
This is amazing. I'm so pumped. Thank you, Helix. Excited to have you on full time.
I'm super excited to be joining full time. We put it like that, like, yeah, he's quitting his full-time job to join us. MetricsDAO is even crazier. And I guess I guess I am good at making friends. It's been a lot of fun. And I'm so excited to combine my previous experience in marketing with everything we've been doing on analytics. Well, I've been doing in analytics for the last year, and then also specifically in Web3 and with MetricsDAO. Like the last year or so, it's been like such a crazy speedy ride, and I'm very ready for what's to come. So super excited.
Us too. I am glad you're in Europe, so you can quit your job and still have some healthcare. um, anyways, yeah, so super excited. Wanted everyone to know. And you will work a lot more with Helix than he had time for before, starting in a few weeks. All right, season 3 goals. Meg, do you want to talk a bit about these 3?
Yeah, so last week we talked about our Go Big KPIs and what we'll be looking to accomplish between now and like June of 2023 when the protocol is fully operational and ready to scale by launching a token. And so with that kind of future vision in mind, we created goals for season 3 that will run from October through the end of December, close us out in 2022. And so the theme for season 3 is really to prepare for liftoff. Our goal is to launch an MVP of the protocol that will run without the token in early January. And by doing this, we'll be able to replace kind of the paper clips and glue of our current bounty ops stack and really be able to achieve a lot more efficiency and scale than we have been so far. And so this quarter, we are working to put all of the pieces in place so that when we like launch the protocol MVP in early January, we push the button to go big, like we're ready to do that. We're fully prepared. And so our 3 goals for this season. One is to seamlessly transition bounties for Near, Sushi, and other partners, perhaps. These are bounty programs that have historically been run through Flipside. And Flipside has said, hey, actually, these might be better run through MetricsDAO. MetricsDAO has a really good system, really good community going on. And we want to transition those so seamlessly and excellently that Flipside and clients are impressed, and we can even do more of that in the future. The second one is to distribute Xmetric to 2,500 holders. Rochelle or Aaron or anybody who's been looking at our charts lately, do you know how many holders we have now?
560 something.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. It's in the next slides.
All right, fair enough. But we're in the high 500s, and so we have a goal to 5x by the end of the quarter, which is a huge goal. And Aaron and Rochelle have promised me that we are well on our way. And last but certainly not least, growing our activated analyst community. So number of users who have submitted a wallet, growing that to 550 analysts. The end of September, we were at 360. We're currently at 401. And so this is another area where we really do need to pick up the pace of growth throughout the year. And by doing these 3 things, by continuing to improve our ops, our client relations, by growing our community, and by growing our activated analysts and participants, we feel like we will be ready to enable scale in Q1. How does that sound to everybody? Any questions?
Do you think we can do
Let's
it?
make it happen.
All right. Amazing. Let's do it.
So here's where we're at now. We've got 1,790 submissions. That went up 8 since last week. We've got 401 analysts, same amount as last week, 111 seller submissions, and 16 programs total. The analytics are all updated on the dashboard, so that's really nice. Thank you, Kakamora and Bounty Ops. And there's even more stuff there on analysts specifically, so I encourage you guys to check it out. Peer review. Do we have Zook on this call? No. Well, these are the. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying no Zook.
No Zook. Okay. Well, peer review is the same as the last week's slides, I'm realizing. So I will skip over that one. I'll make sure that it's updated for next time. I don't know if Aaron, there's any updates on peer review that you're aware of?
No major updates. We are working to get more people active just with planning. But of those, let me rephrase that. We are working to get more reviewers. Of those reviewers that we do have, they are currently active. More than half of them have been raising their hands to pick up any of the review challenges that have come forth. So that's a positive sign. And we're also working with them to find ways to reduce the time of turnaround with review. We just pushed out a flash bounty. That's in the review process right now. So we're gonna get our first glance of turning something around pretty quickly with our reviewers. So overall, focusing on getting more reviewers, keeping them active, and then the third piece I would say here is working to find ways to reduce the time it takes to get a submission reviewed, so we can turn results out faster.
Sounds great. Thanks, Aaron. Xmetric leaderboard, we are digging into this to see if it actually looks like this, but 14 new participants since last week. We airdropped Xmetric to everyone who participated in the Web3 dictionary initiative, and we were expecting more new members. But maybe there's a ton of overlap, and a lot of the people who participated already had Xmetric. TBD. I think Marina is doing some digging for us. Again, the goal, well, I should have changed this, but I found out right before this call, but 2,500 by the end of the year. And as mentioned previously, ways we're distributing Xmetric is evolving a lot. We're adding new initiatives all the time, so keep you posted. Same thing, Xmetric leaderboard should be up to date. Any questions on the KPIs?
Sorry, just is the 558 participants and plus 14, were there 558 folks that participated in the glossary and only 14 at this point?
Oh, no, sorry. So total 500, yeah, I should rephrase this. 558 unique holders of Xmetric total right now, plus 14 from last week.
Okay.
Like the difference of plus 14. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I thought that was referencing the glossary thing.
Oh, no, we're not that big, but that'd be really cool. All right, Bounty Ops. Aaron, back to you.
Awesome, back to me. Yeah, so last week we initiated the near brainstorming. Looking to kick off the analytics towards the end of this week. We launched 2 analytic bounties last week. Those would be Sushi, and as I just mentioned, Nimble, which is going to be more of a flash bounty. We've already have 3 submissions come in. We've had our first reviewer review them. Quality's looking pretty good, so we're excited about that. Would have liked to saw a higher submission volume, but the fact that we got 3 quality submissions that came in within 48 hours is a pretty good sign for kicking this off. And then we're updating our showcase and dashboards pages so it's easier to find things for everybody. This week's priorities: Sushi Swap review, completion of the Terra and hack scandals bounty, as well as the Nimble review. And then we've already kicked off the Biconomy program, but I would say pairing those teams. One thing I think we forgot to mention on this is actually we've had over 19 at this point 19 applications for the Biconomy projects. 3 of those applications are actually teams, which one team will clearly be selected. And then we're going to create other teams through the other individuals that we have submitted. So there we saw a really positive sign in individuals wanting to participate, which is great. It's very clear, higher paying, incentivized projects are really bringing up the elite analysts who are looking to be active, which is exciting. And then as we kind of highlighted, there's just been we're not sure why we're starting to get a finger on the pulse here, I guess, of just like the inactivity of our community more recently. It seems, with the Terra, was specifically Terra itself, that was, not motivating for analysts to want to work on it. We can find ways to, potentially solve for that. When someone doesn't want to work on a chain, we can likely increase potential incentivization and other rewards. And then, as we discovered as well, the risk of not, being in the top 3 with our current incentivization structures not motivating enough for someone to want to take that risk. Meaning, on the flip side, and they could potentially be earning $75 even if they are not in the top, our grand prize winner. Over here, they were looking at earning like 45. So essentially, a $30 switch for the same amount of time, energy, and effort. So we're going to look to raise our bottom bar of which someone would be rewarded for a quality submission, and hopefully increase the amount of individuals that can receive that so that we can see an increase in the volume of submissions coming in. So we're playing around with some numbers there to make sure that happens, and we'll update everyone next week. Any questions about anything around Bounty Ops? Awesome.
Thank you. On to protocol dev.
Yeah, a lot of ongoing alignment last week, especially around rolling out the protocol without the token. We also are making a lot of progress on the front end, especially around wireframes. We've got wireframes and high fidelity screens for marketplace and topic creation. This would be like the brainstorm and then a sushi specific brainstorm. We also have wireframes complete for topic claiming and submitting against those topics, with high fidelity ones coming this week. Also going to do some reward wireframes and a little more alignment around claim versus push on payment UX. And again, time is against us here, but we're moving quickly. We are also starting to talk with more designers and front-end developers. So if anyone has anyone in their network that would be interested in contributing, please send them my way.
Sounds good. Thanks, Drake. Biz dev. Is that still Meg?
Unfortunately, yes. But fortunately, a little bit of good news last week. Aaron referenced the Ensure Nimble bounty that's not just live, but actually being graded today. We got the go-ahead from Ensure Nimble on Thursday night that they wanted to move forward with a test for the partnership with which we've explored, which is basically that where they're like go-to analytics source when a hack happens that their insurance needs to cover. And I'm feeling really good about our delivery on it. I'm so excited to send over results to them. We sent out some proposals, one to a project incubator on Tezos, one to Trader Joe, which is a DEX on Avalanche. And most importantly, we have 2 strong BD lead candidates in final round interviews. We also owe Kakamura a big thank you for updating dashboards. Those got resolved really quickly last week and are always such a big lift to have those up to date and easy to reference when we're on external calls. Speaking of Xmetric, a priority this week is to make sure to include that in our pitches going forward, to make sure that anybody who takes a BD call with us just gets Xmetric to kind of join our network and as a token of appreciation. And that's it.
Yes, more Xmetric promotion. On it. DAO ops.
I can go first. First thing was that Marina got our code of conduct proposal up on the forum, and it didn't get any huge feedback, so that's going to be going to voting soon-ish. Hopefully we're going to get voting set up by the end of the week. We have a call on Thursday, I think, hopefully to do that. And then since that's going to happen around the end of the week, we're also trying to get the other proposals that we're ready for season 3 started to get on the forum, so that it kind of lines up around the same time. Then they can all go to voting together, maybe. Only real concern is like hoping everyone can make it on Thursday and that nobody runs into issues last minute. That's all I got.
On that Thursday call, just quickly, Meg and Bills, I see you guys both here. I tagged you in GovOps. Let me know if you can make that. If not, we'll find another time. We just need to coordinate the 4 of us.
Yeah, I can be there. I'm looking forward.
Nice.
Yeah, that works for me as well.
Great. Just need to get one more and we'll be good to go.
And Treasury, a few updates.
So for Treasury, we've uploaded, there were a couple straggler season 2 bounties that are now queued up for payment. The big curation transfer is also ready to be signed. So if we can get a couple signers on that one, we can wrap up that project, get curation wallets funded and ready for action. Let's see. This week we're looking into improving the contributor payment process. And we had some errors last month with contributors and inputting dates. So we're trying to see what we can do to alleviate that issue and really try to smooth this out, especially as we get some full-time contributors on. We really need to make a priority to get them paid, as soon as possible, so this doesn't really drag into late into the month. Other steps this week for Treasury is to start uploading some season 3 bounty payments, because those are underway and they're going to start piling up. So those are the main things Treasury's looking out for this week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bills. Curation, Jack.
Cool. So we are in kind of a rolling release phase with the Terra grant and curation program. So last week we got token and staking actions out. Currently posted over the weekend were governance votes and governance proposal submissions. And then we're just going to kind of keep pumping them out. Open call if there's anything you see on Terra 2.0 that you think would be great in the model. That is a Google Doc link there. There's just kind of like a working sheet. We're just going to kind of keep brainstorming and pushing them out as we go. As Meg mentioned, there's a proposal submitted for Trader Joe V3 that would be cool to do a protocol level project. I think that's where a lot of opportunity is, so that would be great. Excited to see how that one pans out. Priorities for this week are to get some people assigned to those 2 open issues for the governance tables so we can get those pumping along. And then to complete the payment for messages, which is reliant on that transfer that Bills was talking about. It's great to hear that that's almost done. And then start a new epic for transfers review as we continue to break into Coordinate and use that for more and more stuff. And that's all. Pretty quick.
Very, thanks. And last but not least, oh my gosh, this list. Growth team presented by Marina. Lucky Marina.
Growth team has been expanding recently with a lot of really amazing new teammates. A few of whom are on this call, and we've been shipping, as you can see on the slide. So past week accomplishments. We've had a Transpose SQL Playground workshop. Transpose was back. They really like partnering with us and us with them. Helix moderated that, and the workshop is now on YouTube. Xmetric, we're continuing to distribute, and we're in phase 2 of the airdrop for masters. So currently, whoever is in Xmetric Masters right now, they can refer someone else to join and say, hey, this is a great analyst, they should join. And then that analyst can apply through an easier process than before, just one top dashboard that they tweet at us. We promoted the Ensure Nimble Flash Bounty that launched on Friday that Meg mentioned and Aaron mentioned, and continued promoting through the weekend to drum up more participation. Hopefully that was successful. Transpose access codes are, I think, continuing to be distributed to top Xmetric holders. We mentioned the Web3 data dictionary earlier. So over, I think the exact number is 136 submissions that we got, and a lot more upvotes and a bunch of discussion in the comments about what those definitions should be for Web3 data terms. So really great engagement. And for the next step, we're hoping to host on the MetricsDAO website a wiki with top definitions that can be still part of the discussion, part of the kind of community contribution and participation. Last week, Bioeconomy applications went out for teams, for people to do teams, as well as for teams to pick up some of the bounty areas. And that just closed actually at 5 p.m. So teams will be formed by bounty ops. And finally, we launched a new series on Discord, MDAO Daily Diary. Shout out to Brandon for the alliteration. So we have so many updates, and we want to put them out every day of the week, Monday through Friday, and with the exception of Tuesday, which is State of the DAO. So to keep all y'all updated. And for this week, we'll be promoting the Optimistic Sushi Bounty launch. Bounty, not launch, continuation, which ends on Thursday, I think. We'll be promoting the Near Questions Community Brainstorm for Friday. Tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, we have the first community call that will be weekly. And there's a blog post to go with it, how to participate in MetricsDAO and earn Xmetric. Let's see, Xmetric Masters referral program, which I mentioned before. We'll be distributing more Xmetric at events and workshops, including the Flipside workshop that Sam will be leading tomorrow morning. We will move on with the Web3 Data Dictionary, where the top upvoted submissions are going to get community source definitions. This weekend, the new Behind the Charts will be published by Noah Levine. Bioeconomy teams will be announced. And going forward, we'll be also working on some content based on the submissions we got for the Hacks Bounty, Starry Night, and Terra Open Bounty. And finally, the DAO playbook and community setup and growth is still on Notion. And I think we're still collecting comments and feedback on that, right, Rochelle?
Yes, we are. I'll share again in the announcements, or we can share tomorrow in the State of the DAO.
Yeah, that would be great. I'll do that. Concerns or blockers. Oh, I also meant to mention that the code of conduct non-mentioned will go out on Thursday. And finally, concerns or blockers. We're thinking a lot about bots and Sybil attacks and how to prevent those from attacking Xmetric and Xmetric distribution forms. So if you have any thoughts or feedback, we'd love to hear. And if you have any questions, happy to answer.
Thank you, Marina, for all of this. Yes, GJ, you can have some time. Before you do, one last thing is for next week's, actually maybe not for next week because I won't be here. The following week, soon, you'll be presenting someone else's slide because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I space out and only focus when I'm the one presenting. So I figured it'd be a good way for us to know what other pods are up to. So Jack, for example, you might present this long growth slide and Marina would present protocol dev, etc. So you'll know beforehand who you're talking, like which slide you're covering. But I figured it'll force us to be like, wow, I actually know what they're doing now. It's not supposed to be scary at all. It's just so that you, I don't know, get to discover another pod more, and you get to ask them also if you're confused by what they wrote, you can ask them what you're supposed to say. And you don't have a choice. We're doing it. But I won't make Marina deal with that next week, so we'll do it in 2 weeks. Okay, GJ, the floor is yours.
I'll keep this quick. We would like to transition Near bounties over flawlessly, and the Near Digital Collective, which is the group in Near that's working for decentralization, they're not a DAO yet, but I think they're headed in that direction, expressed a need for a number of different dashboards, but they could all be in a single dashboard potentially, to track their decentralization efforts. So a lot going on there, but I thought it would be a really cool project for MetricsDAO for a number of reasons, given that the ethos of it aligns, given that Near data comes out of MDAO curation. And so that's not exactly growth. I'm not entirely sure where it fit, but I figured I would bring it up at the end. And I will share the list of things that they would like in the chat. So some of this is off-chain, but a lot of it is on-chain, and the stuff that's off-chain could potentially be a little bit of research and then brought in as additional commentary.
Yeah,
Sound?
oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I keep doing this for Michelle. Gigi and I chatted about this a little bit this morning, and I said that this would be such a cool project for us to take on. There's a couple of different organizations. Optimism is probably the one that's closest to this, who have asked us for similar things. And if this can be something that we get good at and turn into an offering, that could be pretty cool. So many programs who need metrics on grant performance.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome if we could like codify a system for this. Do we have budget from near or self-funding budget to support an initiative like this one?
It would not have to be self-funded. I could, from the flip side, near budget, allocate a reasonable chunk of near, just benchmarking for this scope of work, $25,000 worth of near, potentially more depending on the scope, to support this. However, there is also a possibility, given that near is pushing funding to decentralize as well, to apply for additional funding either from the Digital Collective or from near US, the US hub, to support this. So worst case scenario, we just pay for it out of the existing Flipside budget, but there are better case scenarios where we could get some additional funding to support this.
What's the ETA on this? Just because if it's coming from the flip side budget, we're not going to be able to do this until legal gets us the MSA.
There's a decent amount of scoping here in the first place. So I don't think we would even be able to get started for a couple of weeks until we can sit down with them and bring them a scope. So I think the timeline there would work fairly well.
Okay. Yeah, I think once we have a timeline there, like we're not going to be able to move anything that would be, flip side budget through, mid-November until we have that agreement. So, as long as that timelines are right, and match up, we should be all right. But if they're looking for something sooner than that, we'll just either have to find a workaround or, yeah, we can talk about this.
So I'm not talking with them until Friday, and then it would take us at least a week, I'd say a week minimum, to scope this because there's so much going on here. And that puts us into November anyway. So like maybe we wait 7 days or 10 days or something like that from there. But like I said, there's no way to get this done in a super short time frame anyway. I don't think that they'd like it done fast, but this is a big meaty scope of work. If we tell them it's
Yep.
going to take until whatever, December, then that's fine. We'll make it happen.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, and then we can work out the numbers as well to see how this all works out. But all right, this works for me, GJ.
Yeah. I don't want to overplay this either because the foundation, we know the grants team, we know the ecosystem growth team, the data team, they'll all support this, but the digital collective may come back and be like, we want to do it in-house. That's not likely, but if I were putting, a possibility on this, something like 70, 80%. That is all.
I like that possibility.
So immediate next steps, I'll invite Aaron and Forgash to our Friday check-in with Near, with the folks that I mentioned. We'll bring this up and say that we'd be happy to support it. It ties into the Near Foundation's request, which is similar for a lot of tracking here. And if they give us a green light, then we can talk about how we would scope this. I'll
Sounds
also
good.
add, looking at this, there are 7 different chunks. If we say we're going to do 5 of them and 2 of them are out of scope, we can probably sell that fairly easily because they're starting from effectively 0. Now I'm really done.
Okay.
Anything else, GJ? Just want to double check.
Nope, that's it for now.
Poor GJ, don't be mean. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a good Monday night.
Thanks, all.
Congratulations, Helix.
Thanks, y'all.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Thanks, y'all. Let's go.
Let's go.
Bye, guys.